Murder on the Orient Express twist ending explained. The Murder on the Orient Express twist ending explained that this is not just an Agatha Christie murder mystery, but quite possibly her very best. The film is a twisted take on the genre she owned that pushes iconic detective Hercule Poirot to the limits of his morals. Kenneth Branagh's 2017 movie, which he both directed and starred in, is a glossy, star-studded, but mostly faithful take. The first film of the new Agatha Christie franchise brought Hercule Poirot back into the public eye. Murder of the Orient Express introduces viewers to Poirot in Jerusalem, where he's solving a crime with typically Sherlockian logic, but that's all preamble to the real case. Forced to travel back to England to help with a previous investigation, he takes the Orient Express along with a surprisingly large group of other passengers, considering it's in the height of winter. Things immediately feel off, and shortly after an avalanche derails the train, a body is discovered. There are 12 killers, all connected to the victim. The victim is Samuel Ratchet, Johnny Depp. With an ominous scar over his right eye, clues point to his prior crimes of selling fake rugs to gangsters, but the truth quickly emerges after his death. He's John Cassetti, who a few years prior kidnapped baby Daisy Armstrong from her parents' house, and after getting paid the ransom, murdered her, causing Mother Sonia to miscarry and pushing the father to suicide. However, he got away with it. A maid was wrongfully convicted of the crime. What results is the film's intense form of vigilant justice. 13 people with some connection to the Armstrong family and the ensuing investigation band together to get their revenge. They each have a part to play, ensnaring Cassetti in an elaborate trap that culminates with them all together on the isolated Orient Express. Before getting into how they executed the murder, though, here is how they're all connected. As Poirot investigates, he discovers these connections, and in light of the high level of contradictory evidence from the suspects, forms two possible solutions. The first is that one of Ratchet's mob enemies snuck on the train and killed him. The second is that they're all guilty. He correctly rationalizes that the more horrifying latter is correct, and reveals his conclusion to the Last Supper-arranged murderers standing in for the classic parlor. How they actually did the murder. Pfeiffer's Arden is the mastermind behind the plan, bringing together the others in a bid for revenge. They know they need somewhere remote and isolated for the murder where they can't be interrupted, and the Orient Express is decided as the ideal staging ground. McQueen and Masterman pose as Ratchet's underlings, ensuring he ends up on the train while the rest prepare to spring. The basic plan is to drug Ratchet's coffee and then have all 12 stab him once, to both enact justice and keep the true killing blow a mystery. Things only really get complicated with the entrance of Hercule Poirot. When he's put on the train at the last minute right next to Ratchet's cabin, the murderers must construct an alternate narrative to distract the detective. After a false commotion to distract Poirot and disorient him to the murder specifics, most of this involves simple lies when he interrogates them. They craft a fake series of events that creates the mystery of the short, high-pitched conductor on the train. They also drop plentiful false clues like the adjusted time on the stopwatch, the rogue guardsman's button, and hiding evidence in his luggage while allowing him to glimpse Debenham in the red dressing gown. They, of course, had to have been secretive even without Hercule Poirot next door due to the train's crew, but only his involvement led to them having to so intricately act out and frame the evening's events. He rationalizes it could only happen in America, alluding to a prior meeting. Some key aspects of the case from the book aren't in the film. Poirot is clued in that something is wrong with the smelting pot of backgrounds that make up the train's inhabitants. It's so diverse he rationalizes it could only happen in America, alluding to a prior meeting, while the express-changing time zones lead to confusion over when the murder took place. There are other subtle changes. The guardsman is one of the killers originally, but the ethos of the killing is the same. What differs a little is the resolution. Why Poirot decides to let them go. Perhaps a bigger shocker than the dozen killers is that Poirot lets them get away with it. He tells the first false story of a stowaway to the authorities, who buy it because of who he is. This feels like a major betrayal of everything he stands for, especially Branna's fastidious take, but represents an evolution of his character and a greater appreciation of the moral gray of his chosen area of expertise. The group killed a man, but Cassetti's axe also left them damaged and emotionally scared. Near the start, Poirot says to Ratchet he's of an age where he knows what he likes and what he doesn't. This isn't a simple act of vigilant justice, an eye for an eye, but rather a way for them to get over the damage he wrought. When Arden attempts suicide, rather than silence the man who feels compelled to reveal the truth, he realizes the full scope of the blame. Near the start, Poirot says to Ratchet that he's of an age where he knows what he likes and what he doesn't. The twist challenges that, showing it's never too late to change and grow. While at first, this seems to irreversibly break the detective's resolve and make him want to step away from his profession, he initially ignores a call for help. After a pause for recollection, he's right back in it, ready for a new adventure. This version of Murder on the Orient Express feels like it wants to be a dissection of Poirot, exploring what makes such a unique individual tick. Doing so with this particular mystery is a very smart entrance to that, as it intrinsically undermines his ideals and then sees him come out stronger.